The first known conqueror race. Before the humans came, there were 6 types of specialist races. Tender races focus on herding, agriculture, and maintaining a balance with the world around them. A perfect race for terraforming a dead planet into one teeming with life. Diplomat races are great at doing everything except fighting, preferring diplomacy, trade, and even seducing the opposing party over anything moderately confrontational. As an aside, almost all diplomat races are very good at either running away, have natural defenses tough enough to shrug off anything that could harm them, or are so visually appealing that it's hard to want to hurt them anyway. Take the Sulfura as an example. They went from a hunting animal to a pet species to a diplomat race that everyone would want to take to any event that required a mediator. And if it all went to shit, well, they evolved from ambush hunters, so they're deceptively good at fighting. Then, you have the warrior races. Great at fighting with anything and everything that moves. Loud, feisty, reckless, they do anything and everything to rile someone up to fight them, so they can beat the snot out of them, or get the snot beaten out of them. It doesn't matter to a warrior race, the fight was the goal. The outcome is secondary. Heck, some even use fighting as a courtship ritual, where they fight, and the victor becomes the dominant one of the relationship. Survivalist races are, well, survivalists. Give them a death world, and they'll turn it into a home away from home in less than 3/5 degree standard time units. Artisan races were good at craftsmanship, services, and anything that could be elevated to a form of art. If it could be perfected and made better, or defined as an art, an artisan race would compete to see who could be better at their chosen specific art than them. Generalist races aren't specifically good at anything, but you can use them for anything. Good luck getting a diplomat race to fight someone, or using a warrior race for diplomacy. Actually, in some cases, some warrior races' word for diplomacy is the same for fight. Anyway, a generalist race can do anything, just not to the degree of a specialist. At first, humans were thought to be one of the generalist races when they joined the Galactic stage. After all, they weren't as strong as the Kijial, as crafty as the Saphira, or as adaptable as the Deptal. However, they usually came in second or third to the specialists, and were known as the best of the generalist races. Then, others started realizing something was off. Humans suddenly owned more space and land than everyone else. Humans were suddenly controlling more of the galactic economy than the rest of the former United Race General Assembly of Enlightenment, URGI, and the humans were also building an armada that was starting to rival URGI's entire allied fleet. Of course, some of the warrior races found a casus belli to go to war with the humans, because fighting them seemed like good fun. It was not good fun. The humans taught the warrior races that war was not fun. War was war. And boy, were they good at it. Eventually, after having the bulk of their fleet decimated in a few 7th degree standard time units, URGI realized the humans weren't here to integrate into their little assembly. They were here to conquer them. Don't be fooled. The fact that the First and Second Galactic Wars ended in a ceasefire was all part of the humans' plans. When it got too expensive to wage war, the humans called for peace, and the assembly, having been on the back foot the entire time, accepted. Well, the United Race General Assembly of Enlightenment eventually rebranded to the Sapient Collective Parliament at the human suggestion. The Sapient Collective Parliament eventually used human credit as the official galactic currency, at the human suggestion. And lastly, a Confrontation and Unrest Mediation Association was formed, where the arbiter is, by galactic law, always human. Even someone with a bit of a brain would realize the wars never ended in a ceasefire with the humans and the URGI agreeing to stop as equals. The wars ended with the humans winning. They just wanted to brand themselves as reasonable, logical, and generous, considering they were never the ones to start the fight, and they never asked for more than to bring things back to the status quo. Of course, some generous concessions were expected. Of course, they were reasonable, too. Any dissatisfaction with the outcome of the Second Galactic War was washed away when the human fleet decimated the Nereid Empire's entire military. When they came to invade and enslave the General Assembly, a few 4th degree standard time units after the Second Galactic War, utterly shocked at the cruelty of the Nereid Empire's brutish treatment of its citizens, and how they took the opportunity to launch an attack on a weakened, United Race General Assembly of Enlightenment. After the war with humans, the humans declared them a conqueror race and decided that they needed to be enlightened to a better way. Well, they most definitely learned that being a slaver empire wasn't as good as their current position in the sapient collective parliament as expert hairdressers, fashion influencers, and movie villains. Of course, new conqueror races appeared and showed themselves on the galactic stage, and humans, being the beacons of civilization, always nipped the problem in the bud and converted these conqueror races into more peaceful versions of themselves. Strange how most of the former Orcs forget that the very first conqueror race is the one that's going out, crushing upstart competitors that dared to try and carve a piece of their cake from them. Now, look at the world. The galactic fleet is 90% sponsored by humans. The human credit is the official galactic currency. The sapient collective parliament supreme justices are mostly human. The confrontation and unrest mediation association's arbiter is always human. And almost everywhere you look in any city, there's a McDonald's somewhere in the city block. They've conquered us militarily, they've conquered us economically, and soon, they'll conquer us culturally. Freedom, justice, and the human way. What a load of excrement. Author's name and the link to original text in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. And please join our channel.